Hello everyone. Today's session is about multiple email addresses in Active Directory user. And it's pretty common for big enterprises such as bank, right? Over merger and acquisition, for 10 years, there's got to be different domains and different email addresses that employees keep. So, one employee may have multiple email addresses to work with, right? So let's say in bank A, then John is known as john@banka.com, and when after the merger and acquisition, John may also have another email address from the parent company. So now we just created a Active Directory user for demo purpose. So it's E500, which is the user's UPN, like the same account name or the UPN name. So now let's just go ahead and create the user. So that's the user. So the problem we are trying to solve is, let's say in a big enterprise, John may be known as john@company8.com, and at the same time is known as john@companyb.com because company A acquires company B. And users, when they share stuff to John, some users may share that to john@company8.com, and some may be sharing that with john@companyb.com. But when it comes to file sync and share, it doesn't matter which email John is using. We want John to log in and be able to see the files shared to him from multiple email addresses. So now we just created, imported the John's account, right, and into the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. So now let's go ahead and log into the Exchange server to simulate the multiple email aliases. So now we log in, and we will first create a email inbox for this user E500. And after we create the email inbox, we will set up the multiple email addresses. So we are going to be using the Exchange Admin Center, which is a browser-based admin console. So we will log in, and then we will set it up. So now it's loading, and then we have a few email inboxes already. So let's go ahead and create one. So earlier in the demo, we created brand new Active Directory user for demo purpose. So it's called E500. So let's just browse to the user and set up the user's inbox. So that was the user we created earlier. Now we just go ahead and import the user. So this step is creating the mailboxes. So after the mailbox is created, so now we can go ahead and edit the property for this specific mailbox. So we are going to go ahead and click on the email addresses. So we are going to add a couple more. So the very first email address was the user's UPN name. And we are also going to use, let's say, john@acme.com, right? So that's one of the email alias John will be using. And now let's go ahead and create another one. So now John has multiple email addresses set up by the Exchange server, and the Exchange server is also pointing to the same Active Directory server. So these entries will be all saved to the Active Directory. So now John has 3 different email addresses, right? So one is the UPN name, one is the john@acme.com, and then the other one is john@gladinet.com. So John has 3 different like virtual email addresses, but physically just one single person. So the goal here is it doesn't matter which email people is using to share information to John. We want John to show that file. So we are going to set up John as the red color, use the red color theme so we know this is the receiver for the share. So now let's go ahead and log in as some other users. So for this user, let's say this is John's colleague, and so this user will start doing a share. So let's use a lime green color so we know who's who. So this user has a DEF folder, and then let's go ahead and share that with John. And so this user will be using John's UPN, right? The employee 500 email address. And let's see how this will work. And this will work by default, right? So this is the existing behavior before the multiple email support. So before the multiple email support, you can always share the files and folders with the email addresses. And when the email address is the user's UPN, right? You can see the DEF folder is showing up. So the lime green user shared a folder called DEF, right? And then the target user, which is the red theme user, he got the folder. So now this blue user, and now that's another user, John's another colleague, right? So let's say this is a colleague working with John at the ACME company, right? Before the ACME company was acquired. So then this user knows, John by it's John at acme.com. So he shares the file with John at acme.com, and then, and then the file just shows up, right? So it doesn't matter. So the system knows that John has multiple email addresses, and then, actually the sharing, even though it shares to different email addresses, it's actually to the same person, because those information was set up by the Exchange server and saved in the Active Directory. So that's the information the software can leverage to find out. So now that's another user, which is another green user. So this user knows John by the, let's say, the gladinet.com address. So it will just use that and set it up, the same share. So now this is the third email addresses, right? We do the file sharing or folder sharing 3 different times, and every time we use a different email address, but all the 3 folders shows up. 3 folders coming from 3 different people. So that could be, John working with people from different companies, or now all these different companies are together in one single company, parent company, right? So now all these work. So let's review. We have John. John has 3 different email addresses, and then now file sync and share all works with these multiple email addresses. Thank you.